this meeting to order tonight. Thank you, everybody, for being here. First order of business tonight, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance and our prayer tonight. I want to thank Mr. Steve Jackson for coming from Assembly of God tonight. Steve, it's up to you.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. It's a pleasure to be here. Heavenly Father, we just come before you tonight, and Lord, it's an honor to serve you. And as people are here, you put these people in charge of our city. They're servants of the people of Casa Grande. Lord, we just pray that you would give them wisdom and understanding, that you would give them clarity of mind to hear whatever issues might come up, and that they would be of one mind together, Lord. And we just thank you. And we praise you, and we just ask for your peace to just fill this room. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. I think we moved it from somewhere else. Gloria, let the roll call show everyone present tonight.
So noted.
Except
Mayor McFarland, we have some minutes. I move that we approve the City Council regular meeting minutes from July 16th, and accept for the record the Historical Preservation Commission minutes from June 25th, the Planning and Zoning Commission minutes from June 7th, and the Health Care Benefits Trust Board of Trustees from April 20th as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Larry, what did we find out on roll call or call votes versus roll call?
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to be sending out a document to the mayor and council in my weekly update that will talk about roll calls when there's not a unanimous vote.
Okay, thank you. It was a law change. Claims? Anybody?
Mayor McFarland, I move to accept and pay the claims against the city dated July 11th through 31st, 2018.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I abstain, though.
Okay. Meeting agenda approval. I do have one change that I want to make. I'm going to move, since we have an executive session tonight, I'm going to move the reports up right after L1. Anybody else have any changes that you want to make note of?
McFarland, I move for approval of the agenda as amended.
Second?
Okay, been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Agenda's been approved. No special presentation tonight, so we'll move to consent agenda items. All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There'll be no further separate discussion of these items unless a council member or member of public so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of the agenda. Does anyone on the council have any changes or anything? Anyone from the public? Okay. Then, Gloria, can I get a roll call vote for the consent agenda items, please?
Motion, please.
Oh, motion first, I guess.
Move approval.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Quartzen.
Yes.
Councilmember Varela.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay. Next item on the agenda is item H, public comments. So this is an opportunity for anyone in the public to address the council. As a reminder, I'd like to try and keep comments to 3 minutes, and Also understanding that since it's not agendized, we can't engage in conversation about it, but we can direct staff to do additional research, and when we will get back to you. But is there anybody in the audience who would like to address the council? Please state your name and your address.
Good evening, John McGuire, 941 East Penny Lane. Quickly tonight, I stand here a little bit disappointed in our court system as at present. Most of you have probably heard that the Pinal RTA, at least for the time being, has been declared unlawful, and that puts a lot of what I feel are vital transportation projects on hold for the moment. The feeling is that it will likely be appealed by the commission or board, or however it's exactly structured, but the county attorney. But in the meantime, being the person that I am that thinks we need to think about Casa Grande above everything else, I do think we need to start thinking about contingency plans. How are we going to get some of these projects that are important to us started in a timely manner in the unfortunate event that this does become a permanent injunction on this tax collection? I don't want to wait, 12 months, 18 months, however long this takes to go through the court process that we're about to embark upon, and then have it come back in a negative result, and we just start any processes to keep our projects here in Casa Grande going. So I don't know exactly what that means, or what your contingency plans would be, or whether we develop them and then put them on hold until the result is known for sure, but we could then implement them immediately upon that decision one way or the other. But I don't think we want to just sit here and say, oh, it's in the courts, let's forget about what Casa Grande needs during this whole time period. We really should think about how we're going to address some of these projects we need in the interim. So I just want to make sure that was all on your minds, and have a great night.
Thank you, John. Anyone else in the audience? Hi, Manny.
I'm Manny Bowler. I'm the Executive Director of the United Way of Pinal County. You need my address? Yeah. I would like to express my gratitude to the City Council for their wisdom and foresight in supporting the homeless effort that the United Way has been facilitating for the last couple of years, and for the genuine support that we have received from each one of you as we've grown the effort and community involvement. I just wanted to express our gratitude for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing no one else, then I'll close the floor. We'll move to the first item on the, first item after. Item I1. Selena?
Mayor and members of council, tonight staff recommends that the City Council approve 6 resolutions authorizing the agreements to provide funding to various partner agencies. Each of the organizations that are listed in the RCA provide a direct benefit to the residents of the city of Casa Grande. Historically, each of these organizations have applied and been awarded in prior years. Tonight, the total of the 6 requests is $271,650. From a funding standpoint, 60% of that, or $161,650, come from the general fund, and the remaining 40% of $110,000 come from the Youth Services Dedicated Sales Tax Fund. The amounts and organizations are listed in the RCA. I just wanted to mention this year we did do some improvements to our applications and expanded on the scope of services so that the council is able to gauge our success in these programs. And so with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Anna?
I had a couple comments. Thank you very much for the information. You know, we're really lucky that we have $271,000 that we can provide, because we may not always have that. And so, you know, in looking at some of these agencies who all do a great job in their own, you know, I was looking at the percentages of how much, you know, in terms of last year versus this year. Some of them went down, you know, in some of their percentages of the money that they receive from us in their total budget. There were some that went up by 30%, which is a little bit of alarming to me from, a nonprofit status, because they, we want them to be self-sufficient, but we're really lucky that we have that money to give them this time around. So that's all I have.
Matt?
Yeah, I wanted to thank the update and for our new method of the scope of services. And it really spells out what we're getting for our money. And all these are great organizations, don't get me wrong, but I've been questioned in the past by people, why do we give this organization all this money? What are they doing for us? And now we have it written down and they know what they need to provide us. Because I think they're doing most of this anyway, but it hasn't been spelled out in a report. So I'm really glad to see that because it holds us accountable, holds everyone accountable, and it's just good business practice. So, and I think reading all the scope of service, I think they're very good. And we are getting a lot of bang for our buck with a lot of these things, and they provide valuable services to the community that we can't do by ourselves as a city. And people who, kind of back to our discussion about people who specialize in things, this is what they do. And so we help them do that because it benefits everyone in the city.
And that's exactly what I was going to say, Matt. I noticed that there was a difference, and I know it's probably a little more work on those executive directors to put those scopes together, but it is really helpful. We have to remember that we are answering to the community and taxpayers, and it only helps us, but it just proves how much that they do. And, with us doing more strategic planning and, concentrating efforts on certain things, it just really helps us to have that. And it was nice because it was consistent, and it was simple, so thank you. I know Rena's here, so thank you for taking that step. I know it was probably a little more work, but very helpful.
Ralph?
Yeah, and all these organizations provide such a valuable product for the community and things that the city would not be able to do, and what you do for what you get is quite remarkable. And I think the other part of it is, if we look at them, they're focused on either economic development or quality of life or marketing. So all of these things align with the strategic plan. So it's a good situation for both. So thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Seeing no more comments, then we'll take each one of these individually because they're each a resolution. So, Gloria, if you want to start with Resolution 518.
Sure.
5118, sorry.
Resolution number 5118, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the provision of public services benefits from the Greater Casa Grande Chamber of Commerce, authorizing the expenditure of public funds in amount not to exceed $43,500, and authorizing the execution of an agreement by the city manager.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 5118 as presented.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Excuse me. Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Corson.
Yes.
Councilmember Badella.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, we'll take the next one, Resolution 5119.
I'm sorry. Them all together here. Resolution number 5119, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the provision of public services benefits from Pinal Alliance for Economic Growth, authorizing the expenditure of public funds in an amount not to exceed $25,000, and authorizing the execution of an agreement by the city manager.
Mayor McFarland, I move for approval of resolution number 5119 as presented.
Second?
Okay, moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Corson.
Yes.
Councilmember Badella.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, the next item is Resolution 5120.
Resolution number 5120, a resolution of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the provision of public services benefits from the Casa Grande Valley Historical Society, authorizing the expenditure of public funds in an amount not to exceed $34,000, and authorizing the execution of an agreement by the city manager.
Mayor McFarland, I move for the adoption of resolution number 5120 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote, please, on item 5120?
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Cortson.
Yes.
Councilmember Varela.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Next item is resolution number 5121.
Resolution number 5121, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the provision of public services, benefits from the Boys and Girls Club, authorizing the expenditure of public funds in an amount not to exceed $110,000, and authorizing the execution of an agreement by the city manager.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 5121 as presented.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Before we go take a roll call vote, as I'm on the board, is that a conflict of interest?
Mayor, as long as people who serve on nonprofit boards, as long as they are non-salaried members of those boards, do not have a conflict as defined under
How
Arizona
much
law.
do you get paid?
Oh, you're good then, you're good.
All right.
Double your salary
Yeah,
next year.
double it. Okay, can I get a roll call vote, please? Gloria?
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Cortson.
Yes.
Councilmember Varela.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. Okay, next item is resolution 5122.
Resolution number 5122, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the provision of public services, benefits from Pinal County Water Augmentation Authority, authorizing the expenditure of public funds in an amount not to exceed $20,000, and authorizing the execution of an agreement by the city manager.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval. And what was the number again?
5122.
5122. This is such a bulk of paper, it's hard to find
Second.
where they are in here, but I'm happy that it's being continued, because with the water issues we face, it's a very important expenditure and well worth the money we spend on it.
Okay, it was moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call vote, please, on resolution 5122?
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Cortson.
Yes.
Councilmember Varela.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, last one is resolution number 5123.
Resolution number 5123, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the provision of public services benefits from the Casa Grande Main Street program, authorizing expenditure of public funds in an amount not to exceed $39,150, and authorizing the execution of an agreement by the city manager.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 5123 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember McBride.
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Councilmember Cortson.
Yes.
Councilmember Varela.
Yes.
Councilmember Powell.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman.
Yes.
Mayor McFarland.
Yes. All right, move to item I2. This is considering resolution accepting a proposal of services from Foxtrot, which is the restaurant out at the airport. Kevin?
Thank you. Staff recommends that the mayor and city council authorize the city manager to execute a new agreement with the Foxtrot Cafe at the city's municipal airport terminal. In March of 2015, the city entered into a 3-year agreement with Amber Downs, doing business as Foxtrot Cafe, and it's to provide food and beverage services for those that utilize the terminal facility. She's done a great job over the past 3 years. This lease agreement has changed very little, with the exception of the lease payment, and it's a 3% increase for the first year, 4% for the second year, and 5% for the third year. Those amounts are in the RCA for you to look at, and she operates 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, and then the services are provided on Sunday. The terms of the agreement, both the city and Foxtrot are able to get out
of this agreement for convenience, if they so choose. And the services that they provide must be able to utilize the equipment that we have out there. This is not a full-scale restaurant. It's just a kitchen facility. So she does do a lot of the prep work off-site. We've enjoyed it for the last 3 years, and we look forward to the next 3 years if council approves that. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No, I had a question and it was answered, but I think it's important because Kevin had mentioned that some of the preparation was off-site, and that is all in accordance with the health department. So that was one of the questions that I had. That's it.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, got a good motion?
Resolution number?
I've got all messed up tonight.
Resolution number 5124, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, accepting the proposal for services from Foxtrot Cafe LLC to provide food and beverage services at the city of Casa Grande's Airport Cafe and authorizing the execution of a contract.
Mayor McFarland, I've moved approval of resolution number 5124. I think it's a real amenity to us, and proud to move it.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote on resolution number 5124?
Councilmember McBride?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbon?
Yes.
Councilmember Cortzen?
Yes.
Councilmember Varela?
Yes.
Councilmember Powell?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman?
Yes.
Mayor McFarland?
Yes. All right, I3, consider ordinance 2937.1.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Coming before you tonight to ask Council for their consideration in approving Amendment 1 to the city's contract with Tyler Technologies. This amendment includes the implementation of a new services and software. In this case, specifically, it's going to be e-citations and the equipment that's associated with implementing that in our department. In this year's budget, we were budgeted $135,000 to fund the e-citation project. We are asking for an authorized expenditure in this in the amount not to exceed $124,423.96. We're asking Council to authorize the execution of this amendment to the original agreement. We haven't done a study session on e-citation, so bear with me for a minute and I'll give you a little background on how we see those working for our department. We're looking at the Brazos system that we want to implement. Tyler Technology now owns Brazos. Originally, Brazos was not owned by Tyler. At the time, we had obtained our CADS and RMS system. Therefore, at that time, the implementation of this would be more expensive. Now that they own it, we've worked out a deal to where, or agreement where they would give us last year's pricing and save us a little bit of money. The e-citation of Brazos will be completely integrated into the New World system, and it will flow automatically to New World. We tried to put a dollar amount on the savings on this, but it's not real dollars, but the time spent on entering data and the cost of the current citations will be a savings for us, for the city of Casa Grande. With the hours that our police aide enters the data, our records people enter the data, the judges' employees enter the data, that will all be eliminated because this will go directly into that system. The amount that we're requesting will cover the Brazos for the software, the hardware, which are printers and accessories, and the training of our officers in that use. Hand straps to connect on the tablet, and contingency funds to cover the taxes and the shipping of the equipment. The Brazos equipment itself contains citations, warning citations, tow reports, the ability for two drivers just to exchange information if they don't want something investigated, and also has a Spanish translation component in it. If approved, it'll be about a 4 to 5 month window till we get this up and running. We have to create our forms and have Tyler or Brazos upload those forms into our equipment. There's a lot of benefits to this system. I touched briefly on a couple of them. First and foremost, in keeping with the council's strategic plan of improving fiscal responsibility, we do feel like this is more fiscally responsible as well as more efficient. The customer service angle, currently citations are entered into the system manually. To touches a couple different hands, and it can take up to 4 or 5 days sometimes for a citation to be entered. From the customer service aspect, nobody likes to receive a citation, but sometimes people like to take care of them immediately or question our supervisors on why they were written, and it will take days. Under this new system, it's uploaded immediately, so we'll have that available and people can take care of them as needed. Another big factor for us is accountability on citations. There's no retracting a citation. Once it's entered, once it's sent, it's gone, and it's in the system. So we have it improves our accountability and some of the way that maybe the public views us and the trust factor. It reduces the time spent on traffic stops and parking citations because all the system is auto-populated with a swipe of a driver's license and drop-down boxes. It eliminates data entry errors on citations. Currently, when officers get in a hurry, their handwriting sometimes isn't the best, and sometimes we actually have citations that we're not able to do anything with and end up getting dismissed or no follow-up due to that. That would be eliminated by this system also. Reduces the total cost of processing the citations. I touched on that briefly. Requires minimal IT support. A big factor for us is it provides complete citation, statistical, and mapping reports for our people that we can help. It shows us where the highest concentration of speeding tickets are, hazardous moving violations, things like that. It operates on the Microsoft OS mobile device that we're getting. It interfaces with any public safety records management or court management system. What we're going to do on this implementation, originally when we came up with this idea, we needed handheld devices, but Selena's IT department, we're upgrading our MDCs, and with their assistance and guidance, and we elected to go to a CF33, which is a MDC that is removable from the car, removable from the box, where officers can take them up to the cars or into buildings, auto-populate with these e-citations, and go back to their car, print out the citation, give it to the offender, and move on down the road. So with that, I'll answer any other questions.
Yeah, Ralph?
I know part of it mentions here an officer can take a picture of the offender. Is that something, I'm not sure I'm real comfortable with that, but I'm trying to get why that would be necessary.
Some of these officers write hundreds of tickets a year, and sometimes things may be in dispute, and having a photograph of somebody helps them recall that in court, helps with testimony, helps with recall. It doesn't say they have to take a picture, it says they can use it to take a picture.
But so the purpose would be for an officer to remember? I'm just trying to...
Could be. It could be a picture of a suspect out on the scene. It could be various uses for that. We're not just going to go down the street and take pictures of people driving or anything like that for a privacy issue, I guess, if that's what your concern is, but we would use it for testimony, use it for recall, things like that.
I think once you swipe the driver's license, you're going to have a picture of them anyway.
Well, I'm not sure if the picture uploads on that. I think the information uploads on that.
Okay. Matt?
Chief, I think you were selling this a little bit short, in my opinion. I mean, just the time savings alone, I mean, that's our biggest expense is human, but also the time savings for each officer. I mean, if they can get to 3 more calls a day just because of this, or whatever that number is going to be, I mean, I think it's great. When we first heard about this at the CIP committee, I was at that point, I was like, we got to do this. Like, that was one of my goals. I'm like, there's no reason we shouldn't be doing this right now. And, just the mistakes that could be made that are going to be avoided. And, it's 2018. I mean, you should be able to swipe that card and populate that and give it to someone. So I'm a big fan of getting the citations out and saving all that staff time and possible errors of transposing stuff every time you have someone else has to write it, look at it, input it, and then go over to the other side of the court. So I'm really excited about that. The one question I do have, I was trying to find it in the contract, but it's a 200-page contract. What's the ongoing expense of this every year, or is that included in our system as well once we buy the purchase?
Angela, do you have that?
Mm-hmm.
So contract or information that we're working with communications on. That'll also include the cost to connect from New World to the court system that they're currently using, and it'll just add to the contract annually. So once it's processed every year, it'll go to New World.
But that's way less than one full-time equivalent person right there.
And then I did want to mention on the pictures, since it ties directly into New World, we can also use the pictures for accidents. So if they're on a scene, they can take a picture with a tablet and upload it directly to the system, and it'll go into that jacket.
The other question I had, drawing a blank, I'm sorry. Get it going, do that. I don't know, I'll have to come back to it, sorry.
Lisa?
Well, and the feature that I liked is that the actual reporting. So I really do hope that you take advantage of that reporting, and, you know, whether you're putting officers on certain intersections at certain times a day to reduce the speed. And, you know, once you do it a couple days, hopefully people will know that you'll be there. So I really do like that reporting feature.
Yes, Matt.
I remember. I thought it'd be good if we could, maybe you could time people now. I mean, just to kind of see how long it takes to actually process a ticket, and then once we get this, just so we have some data, and we're gonna, you know, so that we can say, hey, we're saving a lot of time with this, because I know we're going to. And then also what Lisa said, the data points. I mean, for our whole goal of having the, you know, the data all around town of where to patrol, and it's automatically going to populate. So
It'll help us with our deployment, obviously, and on the figure and the cost saving, the reason I didn't put a price with that, we factored it out that we figured that at minimum on hours spent by our police aides on our end, and not counting the judge's end, it would be the equivalent of about $40,000 every year, minimum. And then we can take that police aid and use them in other areas in our department.
And that really doesn't even include the paper of ordering and all the justification of that.
Anybody else have any questions for Chief? Thank you. Yes. You said you do, or you don't?
I did a comment, not a question. I just think it's a good program. Anytime you can not duplicate duties and bring them together, I think it's very productive. And I've noticed that departments has been able to do a lot of good with some of the areas where you know that certain things are happening, and when you can, that would help you also, I'm sure, identify clusters in the community from where the reports are being turned in, that you have criminal activity.
Right.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Okay, consider ordinance number 2937.1.
Ordinance number 2937.1, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Casa Grande, Arizona, approving an amendment number 1 to the city's contract with Tyler Technologies, Inc. to include the implementation of new services and software, authorizing expenditure of public funds in an amount not to exceed $124,423.96, and authorizing the execution of an amendment to the agreement.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of ordinance number 2937.1 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote?
Councilmember McBride?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Councilmember Cortzen?
Yes.
Councilmember Varela?
Yes.
Councilmember Powell?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman?
Yes.
Mayor McFarland?
Yes. Okay, we'll move to item J, which is boards and commissions. We're considering approving or reapproving, actually reappointing Susan Rooney to the Historic Preservation Commission. Terms to be extended through August 8th, 2021.
Mayor McFarland, I move that we reappoint, I was waiting for a number. I move we reappoint Susan Rooney to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Second.
Okay, and thank her for her service as well.
Yes.
So, can I get I don't need a roll call vote on that, do I? So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any approved or disapproved? Okay. Thank you again, Susan. All right, then we'll move to item K, consider Resolution 5125, which is supporting the goals of the Casa Grande Mayor's Homelessness Task Force.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. By approving this resolution, the Mayor and Council would be in support of the Casa Grande Homeless Coalition and the collaborative efforts of the various community members and entities and organizations, and along with the attached strategic plan by this organization. And with that, I'll leave it to open to
I
any
think we had a
questions.
presentation on the strategic plan, so I think we've discussed that. I will say, thanks to the council for the support. I'm assuming you guys are going to support it. But the plan is to have a meeting on the morning of the 29th to basically present it to the public. So with Donna's help and Lisa, we really kind of put in Manny as well. So Manny, thank you for all your help and support as well. Plus the homeless coalition, or the task force, and everybody's help for everything that we did.
I want to make a comment on this, is that, for many years I've read, and I know we've all followed, the really sad situation cities and towns face with the homelessness, and so many plans dealt with it in a generic, all homeless people are created equal, for lack of a better way to say it, and they were treated, and any programs that were developed were this group and that sort of thing. And I saw many cities, and I read about programs that the cities would do, and they sounded good, and they had pictures and all of this. And I've watched this evolve since the mayor took office, and Lisa and Donna spending hours, and the Alliance and Manny, and just a community coming together and treating this, putting faces to our homeless population and treating them individually. Each person is there for a reason. There's a reason there, and this plan that I continue to see and I brag about and that kind of thing is that we always talk about something being a living document, and we're not going to put it on the shelf and brush it off. And it has, there's no chance for this thing to go, because there's a constant, there's this meeting, that meeting, and I get the blast from Manny that, now we're doing this, and I can't always do something about it, but it tells me there is this huge amount of people just out of the goodness of their hearts and character and that, dealing with this situation and I just cannot say how much I am proud of our council members and our mayor and our community and all the community people that really care. They care, and it's just not something that we speak about every once in the year, when it really, especially during the winter, it really comes. And I just wanted to make that comment, and I'll probably continue to make that comment.
Thank you, Mary. Lisa?
Well, and serving on that committee and helping, I do want to thank the mayor, and I do want to thank Manny. I know this is something that Manny from United Way has been very passionate about, and, she's put it in front of all of us, and, Manny has, such passion and enthusiasm right there, right, Manny? And so, but literally, she was, a great leader and spearheading this and committing to it. We now, did the easy part, and that's putting the strategic plan together, but now it's executing and getting people together, and she's really good at motivating people, and the group is excited, and the community is now, we're going to have a meeting and roll it out to the community. So yeah, it was definitely exciting and fun to be part of, and so thank you. And Rena, was very active on that committee. Renee Luzon-Ben is here, and she was very active on that community. So we did have a lot of community members that were very, very passionate about this work. So,
Ralph?
I'd like to also thank all the community champions that have come together, and especially the mayor, because you put it on the forefront of saying this is something that was something very important to you, and for Donna and Lisa to come on board, because that's what it takes. You have to have a champion that takes this on, and you certainly have, and now we have a strategic plan. And when I see all of this, and then I see the number 5 that says financial, I'm thinking that's going to be the big task on how do you bring those resources together, and so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, work's just beginning.
And I'd be remiss if we didn't mention Cindy Shader, who worked diligently to bring us all to the table. And I think that that was one of the hardest things, is when you have 22 different individuals representing different groups from around, our community, and to try to shoulder all of that and bring us all back on track. That's why I think this has been successful, because we were smart enough to plan it out right. And as Lisa said, the hard part starts now. Let's, we've talked the talk, and let's walk it now, so.
Kickoff on the 29th of August. Mr. Powell?
I think it's wonderful. I know we have a problem. We need to own it, and we're doing it, and we're coming up with ideas. The one thing that bothers me, the biggest thing homeless people need is a home. And most of them can't afford one. So as I say, I know a number of the bigger cities. I've got some videos that show what they've done with some of the smaller homes. And what they've done to make it look attractive is they've really landscaped it nicely. They have community facilities for washing or laundry and those type of things available there. The price is between $35,000 to $50,000 maybe for a house. It may be the community that has to step up and provide some of those, but the biggest thing is we really don't, affordable housing is one of the hardest things in the world to come by, because people that don't have any money or any home, a lot of times because they can't afford it. And so I think the whole program is wonderful, but I hope that we look into some of those. I know one of the biggest things, has been the communities that have done it is where you do it. It's not in my backyard kind of thing, but this thing's so darn attractive, and it had the trees and everything around it. I'll try to make it available to everybody to be able to look at it. And when you see it, there's some people that have been there for years, and it serves them very well. And but as I say, I think that's the biggest challenge. We've furnishing. We've got so many good churches and organizations that furnish food and caring and those type of things, but trying to get homes is going to be our biggest challenge, and I think we can do it if we really put our mind to it.
Anybody else? Okay. Then I'll consider a resolution 5125. Lori?
Resolution number 5125, a resolution of the council of the city of Casa Grande, Arizona, supporting the goals and objectives of the Casa Grande Mayor's Homelessness Task Force.
Mayor McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 5125 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote on resolution 5125, please?
Councilmember McBride?
Yes.
Councilmember Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Councilmember Cortson?
Yes.
Councilmember Vadela?
Yes.
Councilmember Powell?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Herman?
Yes.
Mayor McFarland?
Yes. All right, item 11 is public hearing. Open, public hearing L1 regarding the proposed land use assumptions and infrastructure improvement plan updates.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I won't go into too much detail about this. We've had multiple study sessions and meetings regarding this development impact fee update. Prior to adopting a formal new development impact fee, we have to go through the infrastructure improvement plan and land use assumption adoption. So tonight is the public hearing for that. Council will have the opportunity to take action in September. In a September council meeting after there's a 30-day cure period. The 60-day public review period began on June 5th when the document was posted onto our city website. We've received very little to no feedback from the public. So now, today, we're here at this public hearing, and that September 17th, we'll move forward with the council action on the land use assumption. And the final approval, if council decides to approve it after the 30-day cure period, will be on November 1st. Concurrently, we can begin to run the development impact fee adoption timeline, and we will put out a notice of intention to assess a development fee on October 2nd to begin that hearing process, with the final development impact fee becoming effective on March 23rd, 2019. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I know this is something that's we're required to do, but it's also something that I find extremely helpful. I mean, sometimes it's not the most exciting piece of reading that you have, but with the numbers and that, and I encourage a lot of people to take a closer look at it and look at the numbers and the projections and that, and they seem very realistic. And it really not only helps us and assists us in meeting that criteria of impact fees, but it gives us another idea of how, as we plan ahead, and what we need to be doing in other areas and that. So I find it really has a twofold purpose to it, and I think this is very well put together. So
we're still basically this page is still relevant as far as the numbers.
That's correct. There hasn't been any changes there.
Yep.
That's what we're moving forward with.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay. Seeing no more comments then, this is a public hearing, so I'll open the floor to the public. If anybody has any comments or like to address the council on this subject?
Good evening again, Mayor, Council. John McGuire, 941 East Penny Lane. I don't get up here once most nights anymore. Twice in one night's pretty rare. I did read the entire report, as Councilmember Corson was just saying, and of course I'm in support of this. The faster we can get through this process, the better. And I'm hopeful that those numbers are extremely conservative. And it's been really nice to see some of the activity just in the last month. At the Planning and Zoning meeting the other night, they announced that we had the most single-family permits pulled since Director Tice has been on board. So that was a nice thing, and I've been kind of documenting what I've been seeing around town, and it's really great. So when I see 400 housing units is all they're hoping for, I'm hoping it's 4,000. So if we get somewhere in between 400 and 4,000, I'll be happy. So I am all support to go ahead and approve this at your September meeting.
Thank you, John. Anybody else? Any other comments from the public comments side? Okay, seeing no one running up to the podium, then we'll close the public hearing. And is there any action on this, Larry?
There's no action.
No.
This is just a public hearing portion. Okay. Okay, then I move the reports up, so we're going to go into reports before we go into executive session. So I'll start over here, Donna, with you if you want to start off.
I actually shared I was at a meeting at the police department this afternoon, and I included their newsletter. It's some really great information about what is going on at our police department, and I hope that our community gets a hold of that and shares some of the information that's going on. And they're not patting themselves on the back, but talking about the things that are going on in our community. So I hope you'll read that. I know that you all have seen all the storms and been part of the storms. Just hats off to our staff, because I know that they have been working extra hard to clean up the parks and the roadways, and that's been an interesting couple of weeks for that. And then lastly, I just wanted to kind of reiterate, our community has so many resources, and we just don't know about it. Sometimes that we have to put it out in front of people. And this weekend, there were some things that came together for a homeless veteran that has lived out in our desert since March of this past year. And because of people like Manny and, HOHP and the community health partners, there was an abundance of people that came forward and have been working on this one gentleman, and was able to put him in an apartment this weekend. And within, a short amount of time, he had some furniture and clothes and food, and people were coming together to help this man. And obviously he has issues that he has to take care of, but the fact that we do have those resources And people say you can't help everybody, but we have to start with someone. And so by what we did, this weekend and bringing those together, I think it goes to show that this task force, is needed, and it's got people talking. And so if it's one person at a time, we'll take it. So hats off to Manny and the group, because they did a wonderful job on his behalf. I got to spend about an hour with him and talk to him this weekend, and it was very humbling to know that we're part of a community that does that. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Donna. Mary?
I have some real concerns right now here we are in summer, schools have started and our winter visitors haven't arrived, and some of our roads are nightmares. They are such nightmares. And so driving up Peart, the school, it's now known as Grande Innovation Academy. It's just, you have cars queuing all the way up off of Peart onto Florence. When this project was initially approved, I voiced huge concerns about what was going to, because the school does not bus their students. Parents bring them. There were promises made, promises made, promises made. So today I actually saw a gentleman, I've got to assume that he's an employee of the school, in a vest with a stop sign, running mid-block, no crosswalk, nothing, and he would periodically run across mid-block and stop the northbound traffic coming from the south so that cars could pull in and pull out of the school. I don't know if he's authorized to do this or not, but I just think, what would happen if this man was hit, or what happens if there's others? And then reading the P&Z minutes, we now have a daycare center that is now going to be within a mile distance of that, and that traffic coming onto Florence. Discussion was made about the timing, and that it is a preschool and a daycare. Those hours are going to come together, not totally maybe, but they're going to come together. In addition, Grande Innovation, not only was it a nightmare I felt when it was first presented, they have now expanded. They have expanded from 455 students to 600, and because they come under a special shield, we are unable, our P&Z, our planning director cannot put any kind of condition on that, because our legislature has tied our hands and said, you can't do that. You can't control anything else they do, because once you put this in, you're stuck because they're special. And so as we add these things in and we see these conditional use permits, traffic and parking is just going to get harder and harder. And Florence is just horrible. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like. I'm disappointed that there wasn't maybe something else considered. They did a traffic study. I don't feel the traffic study was done during high occupancy, during that time that Florence Boulevard is really going to be impacted. But it's as we do these things, we have to be more careful, and we have to have the ability to be able to say, as a council, we're taking the grief. I get the calls, I get the comments, and everything else of what's happening there on Peart, and all of those promises and everything else. And I think I'm just going to write a little explanation and start handing that out, because it's a nightmare. We have to think of these things. We have to think of it in the long term. It's a great opportunity. I like to see that we are going to have, it sounds like a quality project. Again, we have to assess that just because it's allowed and we can do it, we have to ask ourselves, is this the appropriate place to do it? That's what I have to say.
Mr. Powell.
Okay. I want to report tonight basically on some of the statistics that came out. John, I think, will like this, about the difference between Maricopa and Casa Grande. And what's interesting is the housing. If you're going to have a house in Maricopa, you have to buy a new one pretty much. 99% of the homes in Maricopa are single family. And they're looking at trying to get apartments and trying to get some of those things going. They don't have it. And so what was unusual, you'd say, okay, they're having these new homes built, but we're outgrowing them. And we're outgrowing them because we're a mature community that has apartments and condos and all of those other kind of things that can be selected. A household needs to make at least $50,000 to live in Maricopa. No apartments, condos, townhouses, or assisted living, as they say, and they're working on it. But the average water rates in Casa Grande is $22. In Maricopa, it's $63. The total utility bill in Casa Grande is $56. In Maricopa, it's $91. The property tax in Casa Grande is $2,400, and this is a big one. In Maricopa, it's $9,278 for the same price home. So we live in a really nice, fast-growing home community, and I think we've been blessed with quality construction, and so I'm proud of what we've done. And I hope John approves.
Matt?
I shouldn't say this, but thanks, because I've been saying that for a long time. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Powell, for those statistics. But I want to, Mary has some legitimate concerns, but I'm not going to talk about those. I'm going to talk about, thank you to the police department today, because my wife's a teacher at the new middle school and Saguaro School, and the police department was out there because their pickup and drop-off is not quite ready yet, if you can believe that. But they did a great job, and the volunteers were there in the morning and the afternoon, and an officer. So I was excited. Thank you, Chief, for getting them out there and helping the school district. Which brings up another thing, it's a big thing to me, is the school zone. It's school time, so watch those school zones, because I almost missed one this morning on my route that I drive every single day because it just popped up today. And there is a great PSA on Facebook and the city website from Thomas Anderson about about school zones. So watch that, but it's very important. And the real thing, I spent my weekend for the Youth Commission retreat. We had a great time. A couple new things this year. We were at the Holiday Inn in town, which did a great job of hosting us. But that allowed us to take the Youth Commission downtown for a private tour by Marge Jantz. And they loved it, and her passion shines through. I mean, she went, and it was hot, but we still took a abbreviated tour around. They saw the sign park. They saw the Highway 84 mural, where the sign park's going to be, Top and Bottom Street, and the kids really loved it, and they got a lot out of it. And then we went back to the Women's Club Black Box Theater, which accommodated us, so thank you to them as well. So we could meet there in the air conditioning, and Marge went over her brochures and everything, and a lot of historical things of Casa Grande, and it was great because we thought it was important for these kids that are serving Casa Grande to know where we came from and some of the history, and they were pretty impressed by some of the stuff. Then we had our meetings, we planned everything out, elected new officers, new goals, and then we had our lip sync competition, which was judged by the longest serving member of the council and the shortest term member of the council, Donna. So that was a lot of fun, and they managed to within half an hour, these kids put together some pretty good routines. So that was a lot of fun. Yep, we stayed the night. We ate a lot of pizza, a lot of canes, a lot of breakfast, and drank a lot of water and Capri Suns or whatever they are. So it was great, and it's an exciting year. There'd be a couple new activities this year, and our new officers are ready, and we have about half the commission is returned and half the commission is new, so it's going to be great. So it was a good weekend for me because it was a lot of fun and gives you good hope about the future of Casa Grande. And I told them how important it is for them to all come back here and work, and that's what we're trying to do. Oh, and lunchtime, the new superintendent from the high school came and had lunch so they could ask questions of him. So he said a lot of really good things, so we're excited about Dr. Beebe at the high school, and the kids really got to give their input. And I was like, this is a great group because we got both high schools represented right here. And he goes, oh, yeah, so hopefully that'll help. And that's all I have.
Ralph?
I attended the unveiling of the mural at the Main Street Library, and it was it's an awesome mural. It's really captures the history of Casa Grande and the diversity and the contributions and the partnership that brought it together in terms of the Casa Grande Arts Commission and Art Awakenings and Simpatico. It's such a beautiful mural, and I really hope everybody has an opportunity to look at it. The second thing, the Cesar Chavez Committee did have its APS raffled for the suite. The game is today, so obviously none of us won. But the good news is that it did raise $4,600, and so thanks to APS. And then the final thing is the Latino Familia Initiative, of which Lisa and I sit on, is they're having a mariachi rubor. It's an all-female mariachi group from Phoenix, Arizona, and sponsored by the Casa Grande Arts and Humanities Commission. It's going to be, and I have flyers, so anybody wants a flyer afterwards, September 13th at 6 to 8 p.m. at the Paramount Theater, and it's a really cool mariachi group. It's all female, and it's free to the public, so we want to make sure we get everybody there, so thank you very much.
Lisa?
I don't think I have anything. No, I'm just kidding. I said it all. No, I mean, I think, you know, of course, the busy time right now being back to school, and I don't know about you guys, but it's so cute seeing all the posts on Facebook and all the other social media with kids going back and teachers. You know, Matt, I always look for your wife and your daughter, and every year they put their little 26-year and 25, whatever it is on Facebook, and it just amazes me because they don't even look old enough to teach for that long. But just thankful for all our teachers, and it's exciting, being back to school here. There's exciting things going on with the schools. Dick and I met with the two superintendents with elementary school district and high school district, with education being one of our priorities in our strategic plan. Dick and I wanted to sit with them and just kind of, let them know, why we as a council thought that this was important. And they were, very appreciative and excited to have the council and the city on their side to, move forward on some of those strategic goals. And then there was actually quite a few of us that went to the visioning for the Casa Grande Elementary School District. Dr. Gonzalez is really, she's a dynamic lady and making some changes with the elementary school district. And I think it was Donna and Dick and the mayor and Matt. I can't remember if all of us were there, but got us all involved. And so she's really pulling the community together and making some changes. Casa Grande Middle School, for you guys, for those of you that haven't driven by McMurray, drive by. The school the old school is gone, the new one's up. I'm a neighbor there, so it's just amazing how that happened just so quick. And then just a special thank you to the Firehouse Subs. Our deputy chief said that this weekend they actually donated 160 cases of water to the firefighters. So, they were giving a free sandwich with the purchase or with people bringing water. And so, again, when we talk about, the community's commitment, these people showed up at Firehouse Subs and donated 160 cases to our firefighters. So that's the great thing about Firehouse Subs is they donate to our local, firefighters. So just a special thank you to Firehouse Subs. And that's it.
Okay. Well, last week I had the opportunity to go see one of our fire trucks and actually give it the
I think I saw a picture.
last check off.
I did see that.
And the check, or whatever they would call it, a list of things that they had to finish on it, but it's a lot of our taxpayer money there, but these vehicles are all handmade. They're not custom. I mean, they are custom. They're made from the ground up. From every piece of metal that's on it, so there's a reason why they're expensive.
No assembly line. Huh?
No assembly line, no. They had assembly, but it was...
Amazing.
Yeah. It was really amazing, so I learned a lot, and thanks to the chief for inviting me to go. It was a good learning experience. Also, just to remind everybody to please keep our firefighters in your prayers. We have 3 of them that are on the line at the car fire over in California, so just keep them in your prayers and make sure they come back safe. A couple things. I know the chamber is selling tickets to they are $1 or 1 for $50, 2 for $75, and 3 for $100 if anybody's interested. But it's a first place. It's just like a raffle drawing. The first place is dinner for a week, so it's a pretty good deal. Several of our local restaurants, Eva's, McMasher's, Anaya's, Mi Amigo Ricardo's, Badillon's are all contributed to that, so you get to eat at all those different places, and you don't have to do it all 7 nights in a row. And the second place is Lunch on Me for 2, so that'd be worth it right there.
Are you cooking?
That's why they're
No, I'm taking
Oh.
you out to lunch.
Even better.
And then
The lady swooned.
And then third place is breakfast, thanks, Dick, is breakfast at El Grande Cafe. So there's some good prizes, a lot of fun. La Grande, sorry, Cafe. What'd I say?
El Grande.
Oh. One other thing too is we have the Boys and Girls Club, that dinner that's this week. It's on the 25th, and there's tickets are available, so please check it out. You can do it online, or you can see me for those too. But that'll be Saturday the 25th. And then just an update on our homelessness task force. The mayor's homelessness task force will officially end on the 29th of this month. So it'll be a culmination. We started in November. Really thank everybody who's been involved in it. It'll be kind of an official handoff to the Homeless Coalition. So the homelessness task force will end, but the coalition will take over. And there's also on our website, the Healthy Community. You can go to the city's website, and now the drop-down should have, it'll have education on there. It'll also have community health, and then it'll also have volunteers. So, and under volunteers, I still need to talk to Kayla. I haven't told her this bit, but we're gonna add city volunteer opportunities like Mayor's Reading Club and those kinds of things under volunteer. So I'm getting the head nod at that. All right, good. So, but if you do go online and you do have an organization who wants to be in one of those 3 areas, there's a form that's online. It's a fillable form. You can fill it out and send it back to Kayla. And even if you're not on there and you want to be on there, then check it out online. You can see what we're all about. And I think it's a good opportunity for the city and for our citizens, for resources. The street sheet's on there too, so that Manny's group has put together. So that street sheet's available on there as well. There's also 211 access that gives you additional access for all over the county. So there's a lot of good information on there, and it's readily available for anybody who needs it. And then again, we'll have the public unveiling of the strategic plan on the 29th, and everybody's invited. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 to 9. We'll provide a light breakfast, so it's in here, be in the council chambers. So anybody who wants to volunteer, please show up. And that's all I have.
What's the date on that, man?
29th of August.
Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion to move into
So moved.
executive session.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to move in executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we'll adjourn for 5 minutes and let everybody clear the council chambers. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight.